Admiral James Lyons, Jr. is a retired admiral in the United States Navy who served as commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet from 1985 to 1987. He served in the United States Navy for 36 years as a surface warfare officer, including as Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, Senior U.S. Military Representative to the United Nations, and Deputy Chief of Naval Operations. Please join me in welcoming Admiral James Lyons, Jr.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon. This little liquid sunshine can't dampen your spirits. That's what America is all about. And I must say, it's my great honor to be with such a great group of Americans this Memorial Day weekend. And as you know, Memorial Day is all about remembrance and accountability. We're remembering our brave warriors who paid the ultimate price to preserve our freedoms and liberties that we enjoy today. And it's accountability for those missing American servicemen, POW, MIAs, who have the right to be brought home. Now, I also have to say it's my honor to be able to participate in the 30th anniversary of Rolling Thunder. And to Sergeant Artie Mueller and the entire Rolling Thunder organization, I want to take my hat off to you, congratulate you for the great job you do in keeping the POW-MI issue in the forefront and before the American public. I congratulate you and I salute you. Now, you know, most Americans associate the POW-MIA issue with Vietnam. However, it's much broader than that. Let me take you back to World War II. At the end of World War II, we had 15,000 to 20,000 American POWs in German POW camps. And when they were captured by the Russians, who at that time were our allies, you would have thought they would have turned them over to U.S. forces. That never happened. They got shipped off to slave labor camps in the Gulag, never to be heard from again. This was unconscionable. So, Mr. President, the next time you're talking with Mr. Putin from Russia, you must demand an accountability on those 15,000 to 20,000 Americans. They earn the right to be brought home. And the same for those in the Korean War that were shipped off to China and Russia. We want an accounting. They earn the right to come home. And of course, in Vietnam, I believe, as Sergeant Artie said, there are live Americans still in Laos, Cambodia, and possibly Vietnam. We need to bring them home. But of course, the group that has always had my attention are the 17 POWs that were shipped from Hanoi to Cuba for medical experiments. I can't imagine what they went through and how they suffered. But nonetheless, we want an accounting and we want them back. How we could have ever recognized that corrupt and disreputable regime is mind-boggling to me. It's a stain on our honor. I have to tell you, the last time it was my privilege to talk to the Rolling Thunder organization was on the 5th of November, 2016. That was 3 days before we had a political revolution in America, when you helped elect Donald J. Trump as the 45th President of the United States. But I have to tell you, that election was for more than the presidency. That election was for the soul of America and the rights and freedoms embodied in our Constitution. And to me, our Constitution is one of the great documents ever written. It's what makes America exceptional. But make no mistake, our Constitution is under attack. You know about the leftists. You know about the Soros-funded groups. But the most insidious is by the Muslim Brotherhood, who have penetrated our national security and intelligence agencies for over the last 50 years. They've had such an adverse impact on our domestic and foreign policy and the way we conduct our wars. Through their seditious actions, there's no question they should be termed a terrorist organization along with all of their front groups. Yeah. Now, we have a number of other situations developing. They not only have the Muslim Brotherhood, but I have to tell you, I reject the term radical Islam because it implies that there's some other benign form of Islam. That doesn't exist. And it was President Erdogan of Turkey, when he was prime minister, who said it best. Islam is Islam. There are no modifiers. Democracy is the train we ride to achieve our ultimate objective, which is to make Islam the dominant religion throughout the world. And the manifestation of that objective, you just witnessed the terrorist attack in Manchester, England. Now, the apologists will tell you that has nothing to do with Islam. Well, let me tell you, it has everything to do with Islam. You must understand, Islam is a totalitarian ideology bent on world domination, masquerading as a religion. And until you understand that, you will not be able to defeat the enemy. Now, I have to say at times, I think President Trump doesn't get all the information he needs on evaluating not only the threat of Islam, but the Muslim Brotherhood. He needs to hear from people like John Coughlin, Robert Spencer, Claire Lopez, John Guandolo, Diana West. It's people like that, Phil Haney, who is from Homeland Security. These are the people that will help purge the Muslim Brotherhood out of our government agencies. These are the people who will help rewrite the training manuals so that our brave military warriors and our law enforcement agencies will have the proper information to fight the enemy. Now, I gotta say, our brave warriors did not pay the ultimate price to see our elected and appointed officials commit illegal acts and crimes in office. They expect those officials to be held accountable. There's no question our former Secretary of State violated the Espionage Act along with the people around her. We had Uranium One, where 20% of our uranium deposits was sold off to a Russian-controlled company. And then, out of the generosity of the heart of that company, their board miraculously donated over $100 million to the Clinton Foundation. Now, wasn't that special? There's only one problem. It doesn't pass the smell test. You also have the transfer of our technology to Putin's version of Silicon Valley, over and above disregarding the warnings from the FBI that the transfer of this technology will only enhance the military capabilities of Russia. We then have the Benghazi tragedy. We have Fast and Furious, the IRS scandal. It goes on and on. We are not a third world country. We are the United States of America. We are the gold standard. Our Constitution is not for sale. Those corrupt officials must be held accountable. So much as our military leaders who violated their oath of office by signing off on those disastrous restricted rules of engagement that cost so many American lives and permanent injuries. It cannot be dismissed. It also resulted in disastrous operations like Extortion 17 that cost us 30 of our elite warriors, including 17 Navy SEAL 6 personnel. This is unconscionable. They must be held accountable. However, we did have some brave and courageous military leaders who put the lives of the men under their command above those of the enemy. Their reward for doing that was to be brought up, punished. Some were cashiered out of the military. Some were tried and sent to prison. In fact, some are still in prison. So, Mr. President, this Memorial Day weekend, I ask you to commit to granting a pardon to those courageous leaders, restore their ranks and ratings, and give them their lives back. And there's one more thing, Mr. President. I want you to restore the moral underpinnings of our wonderful military forces. All the socializing mandates that were imposed on our forces did nothing to enhance readiness and capability. In fact, it destroyed unit integrity, cohesiveness, and the will to win. Those social engineering mandates must be canceled. In fact, I don't understand why they haven't already been canceled. I can tell you one other thing. The day you make that decision to cancel them, morale will go sky high. Now, I don't expect the mainstream media to carry much of what was said here today. So I'm charging you to be the messengers, to get the word out through your social media. And for you, Mr. President, we're counting on you to preserve and protect the soul of America. We know you will. Let me say it's great to be with you today. God bless you and God bless America.